directing our control room to Kash Patel's X account. There are now videos based on the images that we've been talking about for this period of time that are still images. You can see movement. That, of course, is always helpful to give people a sense of a person's bearing, their gait, and so forth. You also see a bit of the movement in trying to disengage the camera and so forth. This is critical because it's also a demonstration of the ongoing work that has happened today. So when we were first given guidance to be monitoring for this, we knew there were images. That work has continued behind the scenes with the experts who are deploying this kind of skill level to first get out the first image, and the work goes on to provide these videos. This will be critical. It appears they're from the same spots that we had seen in the still images, but again, movement is helpful for people to be able to understand what was going on, have a sense of who this person might be. You see the person moving away from the doorway and so forth. So I think there's potential probative value here for law enforcement, as well as that tip quality for a person who might know this individual, have encountered them, and so forth. Just for scene setting, we know that the highest levels of the Department of Justice have fully been briefed on this. We know that the president has remained very interested and getting briefings on this.
Look at that.
I've been out to the White House. I haven't heard a specific if he is tuned into these latest.
They are now going door to door, which we're going to jump to in just a minute.
Developments, but we know it has been high interest, so I have confidence that he has been alerted to this as well. That's part of the coordination that's been going on and part of this technical work. So these videos are now the latest installment on a day that is providing us with some much wanted, much expected evidence of something, a subject who appears to be breaking into the home and certainly has an intent of some kind of ill harm toward Nancy Guthrie. And this is giving us a real sense of what that moment was like on that Sunday in the overnight hours. Just a few movements of this person gives you a sense of what that must have been like in that moment at her home. Kate?
We thank you.
Okay, so we have some more footage here of this absolutely crazy scene. Right, so here we go. A little closer here.
Follow this breaking news. The FBI releasing some new video of an armed subject in the Nancy Guthrie case. We've been sharing this video since the FBI released it, and we did once again want to share this with you. This is an armed subject at Nancy Guthrie's home, and the FBI director, Kash Patel, taking to social media to share these photos and the videos that you're seeing right here, saying that over the past 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. Meanwhile, we also wanted to share this with you as Savannah Guthrie shared this latest statement on Instagram saying that someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she, meaning Nancy, is still out there.
They're starting to look door to door right now.
Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900. And I also wanted to share this with you as well. This is from the Associated Press, a live look outside of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. But I did want to share once again that video that we have been sharing with you.
Some new
and the FBI, the Pima County Sheriff's Office, asking anyone for additional information. So in this video, this is from one of the recovered surveillance cameras outside of Nancy Guthrie.
And the ransom deadline, that's come and gone.
Wearing a mask with gloves.
The ransom deadline, we are way on the other side of that now.
And the FBI does say that this subject was armed. You can then see that he is bending down to pick up some brush of some sort before trying to place it over the surveillance camera itself. So we did want to share this with you. Meanwhile, the Pima County Sheriff's Office also stating, though, that they will not be holding an update and simply sharing these photos and videos with the public, asking for information. So we did want to share this with you as the investigation continues on into day 10.
Look at that. Look at that. That's scary. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Unbelievable.
Nancy Guthrie's disappearance from her Tucson, Arizona home. I also wanted to share this with you just to give you just a brief recap. This is the timeline of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, that on February 1st at 1:47 a.m. doorbell camera, that camera,
maybe some kind of strong arm robbery that might have gone wrong. I don't know.
Disconnected. Then at 2:12 a.m., software detected a person on the camera. Initially, the Pima County Sheriff said that they couldn't get that video. However, today, the FBI releasing new video from the surveillance camera of a masked subject. Meanwhile, on that day of the disappearance at 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from the phone. The next morning at 11:56 a.m., or that Sunday morning, the family discovered that Nancy was missing after she did not show up to a friend's house to watch a church service, and law enforcement was called just a few minutes later. So we are continuing to follow the very latest as you are taking a look at the new surveillance video that the FBI has just released of the armed subject in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Any updates, you can count on Live Now from Fox to bring them to you as soon as they happen. However, as of now, the Pima County Sheriff's Office says that they will.
I mean, and they're saying that they don't have any suspects. This guy's not a suspect? Come on now.
Will not be holding another news conference.
Who else is there? Is there somebody else walking up on their deck? We're to go just a couple minutes ago here.
Sheriff's Department.
Live with JLR.
Really close
you
to
can
here.
see the sheriff and the FBI going door to door.
Dove a piece.
Double piece.
Here's the surprise. Here's the
have they been? Can you put it up all the way?
This is in the neighborhood of the sister. This is near Annie's house. They are going door to door near Annie's house. Hello.
Each one, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, I think they're about ready to catch this person. I think they figured something out. And frankly, if you look at the images of that person that they released today,
going door to door.
if I knew that person,
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'd absolutely be able to identify him. Look at the picture, the image that has a goatee.
That's what I thought.
Dash, and you can see facial features. You can even see through the mask. You can see how long the nostril is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually a really good image.
Yeah, and then people have been colorizing it too.
So
they put it through the colorized.
And if you look at the glove, it looks like the glove is one of those disposable like nitrile, and it's over a glove, I believe.
What was that name of the church? Dove of Church?
Dove of Peace.
Dove of Peace. I got to remember.
Dove of Church.
We do have.
Welcome everybody. Come in. Hit the like button. We got some breaking news here for you. Now, to me, these guys going door to door in Annie's neighborhood is indicative that they think that she is somewhere around there, or somebody around there knows who this is. Tommaso had some band members. There was some talk of them. Remember Tommaso, the son-in-law.
The image does not look like him.
So this is now canvassing near the house of Annie Guthrie.
I think it's
the daughter of Nancy Guthrie.
I think they chose her.
And also Tommaso, the son-in-law.
To Savannah.
So this is their neighborhood that they are canvassing. FBI and sheriff. This is big. This is a big move.
But I mean, it's almost inconceivable that somebody could do something like that and not get caught.
This is huge.
But yeah, those images are it's just wow. It's haunting, it's creepy. I thank God that it looks like they're gonna get them.
The plainclothes here, they're federal agents.
Thank you.
FBI.
Oh. 20 billion times better here.
Canvassing the neighborhood. And this is near Annie's house. That's the part that really, that really hits.
Come on in, guys. You guys had a better view, huh?
Thank you for coming in. Hit the like button, guys. Welcome to the program. We are live in right outside of Tucson.
All right, so we are across the street from Annie and Tommaso right now, folks.
There you go.
Law enforcement is here talking to... Hello? Yeah. Jacob's on his way, and
So now you can see one of the neighbors being questioned by law enforcement. Looks like he's being cooperative. He's saying, if you want to go look, go look. What's going on, everybody? Breaking news, come in, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Share this out with a friend. We'll go back to some of those images in a little bit. But this is boots on the ground. FBI, sheriff, canvassing the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie, the sister. And if they're in this neighborhood, they believe something is here. They think that there is something here, whether they think that Nancy is around here and perhaps still alive.
Well, Ellie went around the side of their house.
Or
Went around the side
otherwise.
Of the house. I gotta be careful about my phone overheating, so I might have to get in the shade, folks. We are live across the street from Annie Tommaso. Law enforcement is here speaking to a neighbor. Look, look. They're going around the yard. Am I in your way? They're going around the yard. They're going around the side of their yard. Looking around. Yeah, we got the car running. It's okay.
Canvassing the neighborhood around Annie Guthrie's house. Wow. Annie Guthrie, sister of Savannah, daughter of Nancy.
Look, he got a gun on the side. Definitely sheriff or some FBI.
That's a Fed.
Why are they going across the street from Annie and Tommaso's? All right, so they left. The guy went in. I'm assuming he's the homeowner. And they're at the side. Look. You can see him. Where is he at? There he is. They're going around to this ditch-like area. Yeah. Go down here. It might be down here. He's going around to the side by this ditch.
So now we're
right side.
Following JLR, coming down to a ditch, apparently. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Like behind the home.
Everybody's
like
important.
Ditch back there. Why are they searching over here? There's like a ditch back here. Or somewhere over there. I seen him somewhere over there.
Well, if they're canvassing around the neighborhood, they found something came up, something rattled their cage.
But the fact that the law enforcement again is back at the house is very troubling.
We are across the street from Annie Guthrie's, the daughter of Nancy, that is not Savannah.
I'm running around right now, but the live is on. You can see everything that I see. But there shouldn't be.
So this is in Annie Guthrie's neighborhood.
I'm good with the live view. It's a matter of, timing of when you guys want to take it, where, wait, and all that.
No buzzards.
Well, there's something there.
Well, I'm just
Hit the like button for me, guys.
So that's not an issue.
Where is he?
Hit that thumbs up. It's either at the top of the screen on your device, or you could double tap. Boop, boop. Give me a boop.
He went
boop.
down and it started walking down the hill. There.
Double tap that screen.
But there's like a cavern in, or like a canyon.
backyard.
They went to the backyard.
That's my guess.
Maybe I'll go around the other side. I'll go around the other side. Dude, we got law enforcement across the street from Annie and Tommaso's. Definitely asking what's going on. that shows what they're looking at, folks. Like, it kind of shows. I mean, why is law enforcement? And another guy, a neighbor, just told me, the guy that we were talking to at the beginning, said they were going door to door. You see anything? I might go around to the other side.
They're looking in the backyard or on the side.
I'm gonna stay in the shade here a minute.
So this is across the street from Annie Guthrie's house. This is crazy.
I'm gonna keep in the shade. So, folks, we have law enforcement across the street
Absolutely
from
insane.
Tommaso's home at the neighbor's house, and they were talking to the neighbor and pointing to the right.
Welcome, everybody. Come in. Breaking news. FBI, Sheriff's Department, canvassing the neighborhood.
Somewhere there, and then he went down that
They
way
found something.
into that, like,
How many?
ditch. It looked like there was 3 of them.
3 officers or feds?
It would look like one guy that was kind of more plain dressed, so he might be the main investigator, and 2 sheriffs, from what I saw.
I'll put a tag, folks, LE at law enforcement.
There they go. There they go.
There they go. There they go. There they go. There they go. Here they go. Here they come. They're coming out. There they are. Calm down.
Come on, JLR. Get the camera.
There's cops all over here. There's cop cars. Dude, you see how far down they are? There's cop cars everywhere down here. Dude, they're going to all the houses around Tommaso and Annie's.
That's crazy.
Dude, there's cops all everywhere. Holy smokes.
We are across the street from Annie Guthrie's house.
Cops everywhere.
This is crazy.
They think she's around here, around Tommaso and Annie's home. There's no doubt about it. Why would they be around here?
No reason for all these cops to be out here.
Share this video out. JLR investigates. Boots on the ground. Law enforcement. They're up the road and everything. They're all around this area.
Are you kidding me, dude?
They're inquiring about the land around people's homes.
Sheriff and federal agents perhaps closing in on Nancy Guthrie here. And according to reports, they have been flanking up and down this entire street. Okay, Dan, you do that.
Going door to door. Door to door, folks.
Canvassing the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie. This is unbelievable.
This is insanity. We got major law enforcement activity all over the place. They're going door to door in Tommaso's neighborhood. Why? Let's see if I can get down here. Yeah, this. You think so? All right, we wait, folks. I have to sit here in position. You think so? They're like asking, seeing if they seen a picture.
Yeah, if they've seen, they're showing.
What are you, an owl?
Showing if they see if there's anybody in the houses. That
Look at the description. There you go. Description got all the information you need for the video.
We're live. A lot of other media networks are here now. Dude, where'd he go? He went to the side.
So they are canvassing the neighborhood
Folks,
of
we are at
Nancy Guthrie.
1124,
I mean,
which is
Annie
about
Guthrie, Nancy's daughter,
4 or 5 homes down from Annie and
which
Tomas.
is even crazier.
And they're talking to the homeowner.
Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? This is
Look at
crazy.
this. Look at this. Search and rescue.
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue.
Oh boy. I think they're closing
I
in
heard
on
them
something.
specifically inquire about the land on 2 of those properties. We're on Tommaso and Annie Street. I'm gonna wait for them to come back here. Who's keeping the shade? This is insanity, folks.
I literally watched your feet
Yeah.
and followed where you were.
Yeah, cause we jumped in our vehicle as soon as we got wind. Fox News started it
I know, I
and
heard
said they're at Annie and Tommaso's home.
And I didn't know where the house was, so I'm just kind of going around.
Folks, law enforcement, I think there's 3 sets
As we
of
can
groups.
see, a search
3
and
sets. I
rescue
saw
group.
3 going door to door in this area.
Okay.
So we're gonna
All
keep it
the
here till they come
information
out.
is in the description for the video. To brush up. Which is right below me.
All over the place.
Well, I imagine Tommaso would be familiar to them and Annie. Perhaps they're searching for any anomalies, any, anything strange, anything odd. With the search and rescue, yeah, the dogs might already be out. Ooh, ooh, let the dogs out.
All right, they're at this house here. Law enforcement. Where they at?
Push it forward a little bit. I always stay just a minute or 2 behind live streams.
They're asking if they can search her house. And she's like, search in my house? They're like, no, we want to search the back. Do you mind if we walk around the back? She was like, do you want to come in my house? They're like, no. I want to search around your back of your house. I can hear it.
We got a front row seat here.
Backyard, she said. Go ahead, you can look. I think she said, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, look. Go ahead, look. Please don't find anything. Oh, can you imagine not knowing that there's a body perhaps in your yard and you don't know it and they find it?
Oh, now they're going in.
Oh, here we go.
Goodness. Consent.
She let them in the house. Not it. All right, so they've let the law enforcement into her house. So law enforcement has entered this home on the street of Annie Guthrie, the sister of Savannah, the daughter of Nancy, who has been missing for 10 days without a pacemaker, without medication.
I'm not the gatekeeper. It's a street and go anywhere you want. Who am I? JLR. Just a regular YouTuber. Journalist. Gossip journalist. Boots on the ground.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Come on in.
FBI, 1 FBI agent, 2 sheriffs.
Do me a favor, hit that like button.
Say FBI.
And we have lots more to look at. In fact, why don't we get to some of that right now while they're still looking around? We could jump back to that in a minute. Let's have a listen to Harvey and his guy.
A big break in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case. The FBI is releasing photos and videos of the man who almost unequivocally kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. And it is terrifying, dramatic, and somewhat mysterious.
Right, because these images, it's the first images we have of anyone.
So here are some of the,
who potentially is involved,
released by the FBI. This guy's just creeping
in this. And to say, we say potentially, but this person showed up on her doorstep early Sunday morning.
Completely covered, head to toe covered, although you can see certain things that we're going to get to in a minute. But he clearly had planned out, you know, not being in any way identified.
The mask, the full face mask, the heavy-duty rubber gloves.
Thank you so much.
And also a weapon.
Welcome, new members.
On his waistband. You can see it there at the front of his waistband. There's a revolver or a pistol that is in a holster.
So what's interesting about this video, and let's play it again from the top.
There it is. There's the pistol. So you can see that pistol in the waistband.
So you see him come up toward the door.
With his head down.
With his head down. Obviously, he doesn't want to be seen even though he's covered. Now, look what happens. It seems like he notices the camera. Now, watch what he does. He is going to turn around in just a minute. Now, watch this.
He's kind of covering it up. It's almost like he's thinking, what am I going to do
to cover it up?
To cover this camera.
So he walks out into the garden area, and he bends down and lifts up some shrubbery as if he's going to take that shrubbery and put it on the lens of the camera.
And he does actually bring the shrubbery over and puts it in front of the lens. And these are the last images that the FBI has released at this point, and maybe that's all they've retrieved at this point. But we know that at some point shortly thereafter, that camera was disabled.
Now, we're going to tell you why it took a week, because this is a fascinating story about why it did take a week and what they were able to retrieve. But before we do, look at this photo. This is a still where you see what appears to be a mustache and either a goatee or a full beard, because you see hair both above and below the lips. So this is...
What kind of eyes are those? Look at that. You can see there's a mustache under there, but you can also kind of get the print of the face, the shape of the eyebrows.
It's either a goatee or a full beard, a dark beard, a dark mustache, but that's about all you see. But that's a clue.
That's a lot. Also, we get a full, when the individual walks up, you get a full body shot. You get an idea of what this person's build is like.
He's somewhat stocky. It's clearly a man. And, you know, most important, it is the person who apparently kidnapped Nancy Guthrie.
And he was clearly there with ill intent. I mean, he showed up, he has this backpack, he has the gun holstered. I was, frankly, a bit surprised by his activity around that camera. And I don't know if you were. If you've come with that level of preparation, you have gloves, you have a mask on, to not have a piece of tape to affix over it, to go grab the shrubbery with no way to affix it to the camera, this seems like he was taken a little bit off guard as to how to deal with that situation. And you're right, though. You learn a lot about his facial features, his build. All of that stuff is clues that will help in this investigation.
I am puzzled by the grabbing the shrubbery, because you know, one of the first things you would know is
grabbing the shrubbery.
Ring doorbells. Ring
You would expect that.
You would expect it. And you would expect he would, I mean, he was able to disable a lot, which we're going to get into in a minute. So why wouldn't he expect that? Why is he suddenly grasping for shrubbery?
It's so strange because it's a bit of a hybrid. If it's a crime of opportunity, it's impulsive act and you're not prepared at all. This is someone who just grabs a purse when they see it because it's there. And then there are people who plan it all and they have backpacks and they've cased the joint. This seems to be in between because he's a little bit surprised by how to deal with this.
Planned, but not
perfectly.
not perfectly planned. And that backpack, the FBI believes may have tools that were used in the abduction or to disable things around the house. Now
they're going to go back to their timeline.
We should get into why it took a week.
10 days.
Remember, when this first happened, the FBI said that they couldn't see any video, but they were able to know that somebody was there.
Right. And they said that that camera had been disabled.
Right.
But what the FBI Director Kash Patel said, they've been working closely with private sector partners. That would be, in this case, Nest is the host of that camera, and says that they've been trying to recover images and video that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems.
So destroying the actual camera itself doesn't destroy the data that has been collected in a cloud. I have these cameras at homes. They're very, very common now. They're set off by motion. The motion probably started recording him. And then regardless of whether he's covering or destroys the camera, that exists in a cloud, and you can get data people to scrape that.
What's confusing to me is they knew that day one, and it seemed like what they were able to initially retrieve, presumably from the cloud, did not show actual video, but they were able to somehow get this.
So they made a reference during the news conference where they laid out the timeline and said that Nancy didn't have a subscription where you get to save all that video and you can easily access it at home. Just because she couldn't see it at home doesn't mean that Nest doesn't have it. And that's what they must have done. They went wherever the Nest servers are.
That's what I'm talking about.
Access this information.
So Savannah Guthrie has posted some of these images herself, along with a plea.
She did.
Believing that her mother is still alive.
Yeah, saying we believe she is still alive. Bring her home.
I can't imagine.
And then she lists the FBI number, 1-800-CALL-FBI, or the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Now, the one thing we don't know is how long has the FBI had this video? And
I don't think they've had it very long.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I suspect that you heard him describe how difficult it was to get it, what the process they had to go through. They, as far as we know publicly, don't have a lot of clues. And this is a huge one. For the first time now, instead of the public throwing out theories and speculation, there's an image for everyone in the Tucson area and beyond to look at and say, do I recognize anything about this person's gait, about their clothing, about the backpack, the mustache, all of it?
I think soliciting the help of the public is the right call.
But the only reason I'm saying maybe, I don't know.
Right.
You have a 700-mile range.
Someone had to let them know that they had it, Daphne.
What I'm thinking is there is something still about this ransom note.
They do have a lot of cameras.
If the ransom note is legitimate, that maybe their initial path was, let's get her home by complying with the ransom note. Now, we have checked the Bitcoin address every 5 minutes, and so far, no deposits.
No transaction, yeah.
So the $6 million that the kidnapper demanded has not been deposited. So I don't know whether at the point of reaching that dead end, they decided, okay, now we'll release this picture, or maybe they just got it. I mean, it just seems odd to me that it would take 10 days to retrieve this, that they may have had it before and they were working on leads. I don't know. It just seems odd.
I mean, I think that, like I said, they would have to let the Nest company know that they had this footage. I mean, they have millions of cameras, huge servers.
To me, that's not something that should take 10 days if somebody's life is on the line like this.
Yeah, and that's why I think they did just get it, because her life is on the line. If they had anything to help get other clues to throw out to the public so that people would phone in with with tips, I think they would have done that. And you heard that yesterday when Savannah said, we are in desperate hours, right? So
asking for any help from the public.
And they wanted any help from the public. So that's why I got to believe the FBI just got these in.
And wouldn't sit on it.
I just want to say one other thing. And again, I'm just saying this. We received the first ransom note, and it is so well thought out,
hit the like button, everybody.
Planned. It is articulate. It
like
is
and
just
subscribe,
methodical in the way it's written. And then you
Thanks
look
for
at
being
these images, and you see him kind of bumble around looking for leaves. It doesn't align with the ransom
Those
note.
don't have to be the two same parties. This could be a conspiracy of people, and the person
it doesn't feel like it aligns.
You're right. It looks haphazard here. This
looks haphazard, and the note is very intentional. Yes.
I agree with you that it's haphazard and they seem unprepared, but they also came with a gun, with gloves, a mask, the backpack filled with whatever. There are elements of this that were very clearly planned out, but you're right. You're right.
Not everything
This is, they always say that criminals make a mistake. And that's all they need to do is make one mistake, and that may have been it.
More
that they,
distraction
for
from
some
the
reason, didn't realize there was going to be a camera right there when they walked up to the door.
Which is just odd.
It's really,
But
really
I just
odd.
want to say one other thing. That, again, by sending these two notes to
the media,
particularly Tucson stations.
Welcome, everybody.
I have a feeling they're looking in the Tucson area for somebody who at least was there that meets a description like this, because they seemed, at least if the ransom note is tied to the kidnapper that we're looking at right there, then it seems like it would be in the Tucson television market.
Right.
I'm Emily from Cleveland, Ohio. And I honestly think this whole situation has been confusing, especially the more time that goes on.
Okay, we're going to go to the next. We're going to go to the next here. We can still see some of those photos. We do have a live shot that we're going to go back to in just a second.
Contributor Josh Ritter on the breaking news. He's a former prosecutor with more than 20 years of experience. He lives outside
These are some of those photos from the camera out in front of Nancy Guthrie's home. Crazy. A little bit of a mustache there, right? Some mustache, you know, some very well tweezed brows.
Live outside for us right now, outside of the Pima County Sheriff's Office. I'm looking at this statement right now, Josh. Forgive my distraction, from the FBI director as he released these new photos to the public. He also released a statement. It reads, quote, "Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. Working with our partners, as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit the website to offer any leads or tips." So, Josh, your thoughts as you take in these pictures with us together?
It's absolutely remarkable development. Residual data from back-end systems. Just an hours ago, we thought this case had come to an absolute brick wall and that they were asking the public for any kind of tips. And you have to applaud the agents of the FBI and the Department of Justice for the hard work that they put into this. And I will say, coming as a prior prosecutor, this is incredibly valuable evidence. And I know people may be looking at this and saying, well, you can't see the person's face, you can't see their hair, there's no identifying features. What I am so encouraged by is how clear these photos are. This is not surveillance. When we first heard about reporting that they had photos, we were thinking it might have been surveillance from the surrounding area that would show a grainy picture from afar. This is from the home, so that we know that this person who they've identified or described as a subject is in fact what I would call a suspect. The photographs are very, very clear, and someone is going to recognize this person. They're going to recognize the clothing, they're going to recognize the gloves, they're going to recognize the mask. This is very powerful evidence, not only in furthering the investigation, but potentially at a trial, and I'm very encouraged by it.
So, I mean, how remarkable is it that they managed, the FBI that is, to dig these images off of what Sanders said were back-end systems? I mean, this really is sort of the difference between the Pima County Sheriff and federal law enforcement, that they were able to glean these images. And as you point out, I mean, the camera appears to be, I've got the same camera, it appears to be in night vision mode, and has managed to snap off some remarkably clear pictures of this person of interest. So, Josh, I mean, what a technical feat the FBI has managed to pull off here.
Absolutely amazing. You're right. When this was first described to us, we were told that the camera had been disconnected, that there was no subscription service, and that there was no video to recover, and full stop. As if this were a dead-in-the-water lead and there was nothing to be done with it. And they did not stop there. They continued to dig. And again, he describes it as residual data located in back-end systems, meaning they had to go somewhere in the haystack of information and find this one needle here, and it's proving to be incredibly powerful. And to a point that you made earlier, we're also learning something about the person who committed this crime, because they did come prepared. They came with a backpack, they came with gloves, they came masked up, they knew to look for a camera. This is a person that came with premeditation and intent to commit a crime Likely a crime of violence, certainly a crime along the lines of kidnapping where they did not want to be detected. That's giving us a lot of information as well.
So Josh, just getting into the details here as the public is taking in these pictures for the first time. When you look at screen left, I assume there are people who have enough experience looking at photos like this where they can, they can go into that front porch area outside the front door there, measure up the bricks and start to estimate how tall this person is, for example.
Look in the description.
You're absolutely right. They can reverse engineer the height and weight of this person.
If you are unaware of what's going on, just look at the description. I can't recap every 30 seconds.
Technology, they can start
Not gonna happen.
to search through the other data that they may have recovered
in
from
Tucson,
other
Arizona. This is some footage from the abduction. That's right. Yeah, of Nancy Guthrie.
Cameras in the area to try to match this image against the voluminous amount of data that they have to try to pinpoint this down. This is a real, really hot.
We're going to pause this and we're going to jump back over to this footage right here. Some of the canvassing in the neighborhood going on here.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
They are canvassing the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie.
So they were seeing if anything was unlocked. They were asking her if anything was unlocked. If she's seen anything. That was a reporter knocked on her door. See, that's good journalism too. I knock after the fact and just say, hey, why were authorities here? My name's so-and-so with, he was like a local reporter. I'm gonna go around this side.
You gotta be a gumshoe, bro. You gotta be a real bloodhound.
What I find.
Get in there,
agents
JLR.
are all over this neighborhood. I saw 3 groups of 3.
A lot of LEO.
Who's this?
Out there.
Texas. Dude, they look like agents. They look like agents from Texas.
It could just be around the corner.
All right, we're looking. We're looking. I think they're back here somewhere. Look, like a garage. I think the agents are back here.
Well, this is they are canvassing on the actual street of Annie Guthrie, who lives with the son-in-law and is married to him, Tommaso.
Sorry, folks, I'm on the move. Trying the best I can.
Let's jump back here.
Not beginning to what I hope will be a turn in the investigation, and that they're releasing this to the public too. That's going to be a way of solving this by crowdsourcing this and allowing people in the local area to take a look at this person. There may be somebody looking at this right now who absolutely can identify that person just from the way they're standing, just from their clothing.
There may be more images forthcoming as well because, as
as
I said, I've got the same camera system, the Nest camera. It doesn't take still images, it takes video. And I'm wondering, Josh, if these still images were gleaned from a video, which could tell us more. If we see images or video of the person walking up, then you get a gait analysis potentially, and maybe some other things as well.
No, you're absolutely right. Those videos, by the way, I have one of those cameras on my home, also capture audio. So we don't know if there's an attendant audio file to these captured images. You're right. If there's attendant video, there's going to be a press conference, we hope soon, where they might release some more of that information. But I agree with you. We could be getting the way that this person carries themselves, the way that this person walks. We could be hearing audio. That person may be speaking to someone. You know, I mean, there's just, you can imagine all the possibilities of what they could get out of this small bit of evidence.
Okay, so they're up on the screen now. How does AI play in here? I mean, I start to think about how you can take these images and you can start to ask, where was the sweater purchased? Where did the gloves come from? Where did the jeans come from? I mean, how is the advanced technology going to play into looking at these images and finding this person?
You're right, and I imagine everything that we are sitting here in the last few minutes trying to imagine that they can do with that, they've already been running with it. The FBI, I mean, the same agents who have done the remarkable work of finding this are now working on trying to identify those gloves. Where are those gloves made? Where are those types of gloves sold? I mean, even just think about that mask. That's not a common item. That's not sold at every, Target and Walmart. That is something that I imagine they could track down where something like that could be sold. Same with the jacket. I think we even have a full-length photo of this individual. So you're looking all the way down to perhaps their footwear. A lot of information can be gleaned from this. And like we already said, who knows if there's even more
Amazon
that was attended to
deliveries.
these files that
Check
we're
all
being
of
released
that
right now.
Hey, Josh, it's John again. I said that there might be some video.
Yeah, no.
Cash Patel has just released video that these photos were taken from, these still images, which we're ingesting into our system. And there is a lot of video of this guy coming up to the front door. Here's the video. Actually, we're watching it. This is after he was at the door, I believe. Yeah, okay, so here he's coming up to the door, sort of scoping out the doorbell here. And at some point up in the future here, in the next couple of seconds, he turns around and he goes and picks up some sort of a plant and comes back with the plant, which it looks like he's using to obscure the video. And then I think he tries to remove it. There, see, he's going to the garden. He picks something up, looks like some sort of plant, and then he starts. This is a repeat of the same video that we just saw.
Is there any audio here or
no? No, there doesn't appear to be at this point. But the next video, he's got a plant in his hand, and he's trying to obscure the images.
He picks up a plant.
So, Josh, we're getting a lot of information. He turns fully around, and you can see the backpack. Now you can go to sports stores and say, where did this backpack come from? So there's a lot more information that we're learning here.
You're absolutely right. And what stands out to me, too, is that remember how much we've talked about that area and how
really
dark
find,
it is.
a lot
and
about
you can barely see what's in front of your own eyes. And I know it was a full moon, but he's under the portico there where it's probably very dark. He has no trouble identifying that there's a camera there. It's almost as if he knows there's a camera there, because it does appear as though he's trying to block the camera's vision of his face, first with his glove and then perhaps with a plant before he has the opportunity to remove it from where it's positioned. This to me, I think you can easily kind of draw some conclusions here. It might be reasonable to say that was familiar with that area, was familiar with the camera's location, and came prepared.
Okay, so this is a second new video coming into us right now. We're turning it, and you can watch it with us together. This is the plant that he pulled from there. I keep a plant identifier on my phone, John. I just ran the picture through there. It appears to be a rose bush, from what we can tell. But to your point, John, it looks like it's an attempt to obscure the camera while he's dismantling it.
It's interesting, though. Why would he pull a plant as opposed to just covering it with his hand? I'm not quite sure that I get the strategy there. Hey, Josh, thank you. Stand by with us. Let's bring in Jason Pack, former FBI agent and hostage negotiator. Don't know if you've had a chance, Jason, to see the videos that we're looking at here, but we've got probably 30 seconds of video, if not a little bit more, of this person walking up to the door, turning around, going back to the garden, walking back up to the door again, and then fiddling with a plant that he pulled out of the garden for some reason. What do you see as a former investigator in the video that we're looking at?
Well, it looks like the FBI has found the proverbial needle in the haystack. Their computer scientists, partnered with the private sector folks there at the Nest company, have really done a tremendous job in being able to provide a break in this case. It looks to me like there's some avenues of investigation for sure. Again, we've talked about how there's always been this other avenue of investigation that's been going on, even though we've been talking about the kidnapping part. Well, this is evidence of just that happening. You see him coming up and obscuring his identity, but what's interesting is there's going to be agents that put a team of agents on the backpack, a team of agents on the shoes, a team of agents on the jeans. There's going to be people digging into this at such a microscopic level that I think they're going to be successful in actually bringing some information back if they've not already. It's also remarkable, John.
Tell me he ordered that backpack on Amazon.
As you mentioned in the gait analysis there, so somebody can watch him walk. I remember in the Boston Marathon bombings, we had grainy pictures and they weren't really ready to release. And so we had to keep working in these video canvases in the neighborhoods and in the businesses around there to make sure we got a picture that would provide what we call investigative value. And this photo definitely would have investigative value. It's not grainy at all, as you mentioned. The technology's there, and it's still pretty remarkable to see that.
I can subscribe, guys. Hit that
there
like
was
button.
no evidence
Subscribe
like
to the
this
channel.
available, that the FBI computer scientists, the people at CART,
This is some
the
breaking
private
news, some new FBI footage.
sector coordinators and working with those
Looks
private
like
sector
we have a
companies have been able
suspect.
to provide this piece of information that will be critical in the case.
It's not a person of interest. This is a suspect. He's got a ski mask and gloves on at the door.
And what do you take away
I
from
mean,
the
come
pace
on.
at which
How
he's
could it be
approaching the
any
door?
more
He
clear
kind
that
of
this
calmly
is the main guy?
backtracks to go grab a piece of this plant to then go back to the camera. I mean, doesn't
They keep
appear
saying subject. Come on.
to be in a rush. Doesn't even appear to really be. Oh, he looked up there once, but doesn't seem to be concerned about somebody, seeing him in that moment. It is in the wee hours of the morning. It's pitch black, as we know. There's no
nobody
street
out
lights
there,
out
man.
there. But what do you take about the way about he's doing this and the pace at which he's doing it?
I mean, he's right there.
Sandra,
There he
that's a
is.
good observation. I don't really see a sense of urgency there, if that's what you're saying. He's not running.
Subject. Look at that. Look at that right there. The word's right there. It says subject. What do we see that? The word is subject. What are we talking about here? They just want to talk to the guy?
Up and hiding.
Sir, we just have a couple questions for you. Just come on in.
And kicking in the door. He's pretty methodical about this. So I don't know. You could say that might mean he might be familiar with the place, or he just was taking his time because he thought the cover of darkness was protecting him, all before that camera that he caught on the doorbell there.
So, Jason, we've wondered how all of this went down. And from what you're seeing here, the fact that he's taking his time, doesn't appear to be in any rush, does this suggest that this was a single assailant operation?
It suggests that nobody is out there in an old people's neighborhood in the pitch black at 2 o'clock in the morning, except him.
Or could this person have been tasked with taking care of whatever was at the front door, while maybe there are other people who are elsewhere around the house? What is your investigative...
We're going to put a pause on this, and we're going to jump over here, and we're going to take a look at some of the investigators going door to door in Annie Guthrie's neighborhood. This is Annie Guthrie's neighborhood. Looks like one of the neighbors there. Could be coming out to get the mail. I don't know. Or is that an investigator? No, they were saying subject. JLR. Not great with the questions out of the gate. Have you seen Nancy? Okay, JLR. An empty apple box. Okay. You've cracked the case. It is a little hot out there, I'm going to say, in his defense. And big shout out to JLR for the footage. Because a lot of these guys stop, a lot of the news channels, they stop. He keeps going. Yeah. He's one of those YouTubers that clean the gardens for free. Is that what you're saying?
Here's the other one.
Thanks.
Here's the other one.
I was too busy talking. There we go. Now we're live again. There's a lady out there just a couple minutes ago, and JLR went up and asked this old lady at her mailbox, have you seen Nancy? That's what he asked. So that's what I was talking about. Hit the like button. You know, every once in a while we glitch here. It's okay. Thank you very much, though, for letting me know in the chat. It was just funny to hear him just go and just blurt out to this old lady. And the lady was going, is there a reason there's an Apple box on my front, by my mailbox? Is what she said. And he said, well, have you seen Nancy? Yeah, she just rode by here on a bicycle. Come on. Think about it. She didn't. I wish she did.
Here they come. Here they come.
Here it comes. Here come the law enforcement. Hey, guys, have you seen Nancy? No? Okay. Oh, she's not a neighbor. She's an investigator. Oh, she has a pistola.
Ready. 3, 2. Pima County Sheriff's deputies and FBI investigators are canvassing Annie Guthrie's neighborhood, going door to door, looking for potential clues in the disappearance of
Zin,
Nancy Guthrie.
not a sponsor yet.
I'll go over there.
But I like them. Well, this is in the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie, so they're going door to door, canvassing all the neighbors.
FBI Arizona. FBI.
Yeah, she's FBI.
Their shirts say FBI Arizona.
The plainclothes people are FBI.
FBI is going door to door.
The deputies
this is the
are
next
in
block
uniform.
over from Annie and Tommaso's home.
Clarice. Clarice. What did multiple MIGs say as you walked down the corridor? So door to door.
Stuff inside edition.
I'm telling you,
coming out. Pull the microphone out and say ages are coming out right now. That's good. It's good stuff.
That's why they're inside edition. Yeah, you got to go right up and ask. You know, to go right up and ask. Live from Tucson, Arizona, FBI. That's what I was thinking, Robert. Like a robbery gone bad, and then they just threw her over their shoulder. That's why maybe the nose might have been bleeding with the old over the shoulder throw, because he was armed with a pistol. You know, that guy. I don't know if the feds want you to hear them talking. I'd be a little more, you know.
I don't. I'm a Fox, but everybody from Super.
So nice. They wave to you as you drive by.
We've been in front of each other. All right, so FBI are at the
Hit
door
the like
here.
button.
Nobody answered. So he's kind of looking around.
I don't think anyone's home at this one.
But I ask you, the viewers, why do you think they're going around the neighborhood of Annie and Tommaso's? Why are they going door to door?
They found a lead that they are tracking down.
In their neighborhood.
It doesn't look official.
Well, it's because they have some information that would lead them to believe there is something around Annie Guthrie's house. So they're going door to door asking everybody. I'm surprised this hasn't happened already, but the fact that they're doing it now leads me to believe that they have found something else, that with these photos, maybe they're canvassing. Do you recognize this individual? Do you know anyone around here that has a backpack, a ski mask, you know?
Here they come. Back out, folks. This is FBI. Step out of their way.
You get out of their way. That's a good idea. Thank you for being here, guys. Hit that like button.
Can you disclose what you're looking for? No, sir. If you contact the FBI PAO, they can give you more information. Thank you, sir.
Standard.
Press officer.
Afraid of PIO. That's what they're told to say. And,
they're doing their job.
FBI Arizona.
FBI canvassing the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie, the daughter of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Savannah Guthrie, one of the hosts of the Today Show, who's been missing for 10 days. This is the Tucson, Arizona area. Going door to door, canvassing the neighborhood, the neighbors. Getting some consent and permission to look around. He's already going.
I can hear it. I'm sorry.
You're good. That's fine. Don't worry back.
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, they're going to have a team, like they said earlier, on every detail. So this is a live shot. We're going to get into some of this coverage here and listen to some more here.
Spider sense tell you about that?
Well, it's much easier when you're working on the other side as an agent with
As
all
you
the
can
facts.
see,
So on this side, it could tell
this
you.
Subject. I mean, isn't he the only subject? Isn't the only subject a suspect? Here we go.
That given Mrs. Guthrie's mobility issues, it could suggest that there may be another person. But right now, all we have is this one particular solid piece of evidence. And I think what you'll see now, John and Sandra, is the video canvases that are still continuing. We've heard about the gas station videos that they've been canvassing. The agents are out there every day, along with Pima County, going to recover these videos in a forensic method, not just taking a screenshot of those things and bring them back. They're going out there, they're diving into the brains
for me, guys. I
of these
appreciate you being
VCR
here.
systems
Thank you
at these
so
gas
much.
stations and these other places and residences.
Do consider hitting that subscribe button as well.
Around the area there. They're bringing all this back. And again, we keep talking about that timeline, but it's critical. So now
The channel's getting closer to 30,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I can't even tell you.
there's an exact time, an exact date that they're able to put this piece of information on that timeline, and that narrows that window of opportunity down more. So now they're working with more solid times, and they're working with more solid information, as well as some photos there that they're able to work backwards and just trace those steps, but both before he got there and hopefully after he left.
Okay, Jason, thank you very much. We want to bring in former FBI investigator Bill Daly. Bill, you have extensive experience, specifically with your career in the FBI and special photography and the part of the FBI lab division. So you know what to look for in these images. What do you take away from them?
Yeah, thanks, Sandra. And certainly these are extremely helpful, very, very helpful. I think you talked about in your earlier segment about perhaps being able to get some height measurements based upon some fixed objects. That's all very possible. I think also the clarity of these images, and these are the first ones we're seeing, and obviously they seem to almost be coming in almost by the moment, both the fixed as well as the video images. And not only just as a testament to kind of the retrieval process and working with the private sector in kind of culling through all of this kind of tremendous metadata that's out there. And
we're close, right behind now. Now we're talking. Now we're right behind the agents. You got to give them a little bit more space than that. A little bit. She's going to ask you to back up. Do you think she's going to ask him to back up? Maybe he's not that close. Maybe he's just zoomed in. The FBI, that is Arizona FBI t-shirts there that they're wearing, canvassing the entire area of Annie Guthrie's house. That is the daughter of the missing Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. And they were talking about her questioning some of the people in the Epstein files and the victims and things like that.
Going into this,
I don't necessarily see a connection, but
folks, this is a block to the north.
I don't think this would happen necessarily.
Oh, she almost tripped.
Nobody saw that. I mean, it's close. I mean, it's as close to inside as it gets. And Tommaso, the son-in-law, it's been said he's a suspect.
Question why no dogs?
I think it's jumping the gun a little bit to say anybody's guilty. As they go from door to door, canvassing the entire neighborhood. So let's take a look back here. Former FBI agent we're hearing from here.
to be a ski mask. We'll be able to determine a certain height. The clothing is extremely helpful. And I'm telling you right now is that there are people out there who know who this person is based upon the clothing. Perhaps the reward that's being offered now is an incentive for people to kind of help out, but also now they have much more to deal with. They have much more to kind of base their perhaps suggestions of a suspect to the authorities on. So I think this is extremely helpful. I think also say is that, and as we have kind of advances in AI and we have kind of recreation of kind of historic images from crime scenes based upon general kind of criteria, what I mean in this is that even by the kind of the structure of the person, the height, the weight, and some of the general features on the face from the eyes and even the shape of the face, they may be able to almost kind of come up with a unmasking of this person, at least to get a general view, not an exact image, but perhaps a general image of what this person may look like. So I think all these things are coming together. Sandra and John, I think the big thing here is that it also now is kind of that dropping that kind of that point on the map. It's kind of saying we now have an image. We now can go out and look across the spectrum at all of the images that either been already gathered or ones they can gather from various establishments, whether it's gas stations, whether it's stores, whether it's other other cameras on doors or buildings they had already, and they didn't know what they were looking for. Now they know, at least even without the face, the clothing, what they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you look back to Luigi Mangione, and he was wearing something to disguise his face,
Right.
but then there were other photos from him in other places where he didn't have the mask on, and he became identifiable through various means. I just was looking at Savannah Guthrie's Instagram. She posted one of the photos of this potential subject holding up the plant in front of the Nest doorbell, and she says, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home."
Oh.
So the fact that this appears to be extraordinarily
So you
organized,
can see right there
as
from Savannah
opposed
Guthrie's
to-
Instagram that she believes that her mother is still alive.
just somebody, randomly in.
Put a 1 in the chat if you believe she's still alive. Put a 2 in the chat if you believe she is deceased. 1 in the chat alive, 2 in the chat for deceased. Give it to me. Let me see what you think, chat.
The neighborhood broke in, robbery gone wrong. Does this suggest that this was an orchestrated kidnapping to you?
No.
Well, John, there are a couple of things that, in my mind, in some ways, kind of rule that at least on the sidelines. I'm not a firm believer in it because we found that over the years that people who are kidnapped usually taken from places that they're not comfortable in. Either they're out in a car, they're in a parking lot, they're walking down the street, someplace where they don't suspect it. Usually in a home, you have a couple of factors. One is that it's the place where the person is most comfortable in. They can run, hide. It makes it much more difficult to grab someone. And also the people who are conducting it are taking an extremely much more risk, like in this case, where the risk is that the images could be captured. They may have not known whether or not someone else was in the home. They would have had to maybe overcome that person. There may be somebody driving by who could see them as they're exiting. So there's much more risk for people who are looking to kind of commit a kidnapping in that regard. So
right there that he has a pistol in his waistband. All right. See right in there.
I don't totally dismiss it.
Yeah.
But I think there's some factors here that
It looks like the wrong. It's like it's not a holster. It's like the bag for the pistol that he's got in his waist.
indicate that perhaps it was something else. It was maybe a robbery. I think based on maybe people knowing about the home, maybe feeling or hearing that there may be some valuables, and gone in to commit a robbery and something else happened as a result of it.
Bill, really quickly before you leave, you can stay with us as well, stand by as we're going to bring in other experts on this. When I look at the picture of him fully standing up, and you can see out to the drive there, in what almost looks like a mailbox, you don't see a vehicle parked, at least in the
They carry all
immediate
kinds
sight of the camera, indicating either parked farther away or parked down the street, but it's not pulled right up to the walkway to the front door.
Wow, that is terrifying. Let's go and listen to some other news, some more coverage. This is about FBI Director Kash Patel.
Confirmed law enforcement is releasing new images of a possible subject in Nancy's disappearance. Authorities believe the 84-year-old was taken from her home against her will more than a week ago. Savannah and her siblings have made multiple emotional appeals, even offered to pay for her safe return. A possible ransom deadline passed last night, though investigators haven't determined yet if the alleged ransom notes were real. And now these images are the first sign of a possible break in the case. Let's get to ABC's chief investigative
I don't think
correspondent,
it has
Eric.
anything to do with the ransom notes. I think they're two completely separate crimes, if you want my opinion. I believe that the people who are sending these ransoms, it was 3 days after. That's not how professional kidnappers operate.
Tursky. Aaron, what do we know about these images?
Especially in the cartels. They want the money. They want the money. They want to get rid of the package as fast as possible and get paid.
Far.
They appear to come from the doorbell camera here at Nancy Guthrie's home that had been tampered with, according to the FBI. And if you look at these images that appear in black and white, Diane, you see an individual who appears to be wearing a backpack and a mask and gloves. And one of those images quite up close to the doorbell camera, the FBI says that is the individual.
I mean, first it's 1 million, then it's 4 million, then it's 6 million. No.
tampering with the camera. The FBI says these images were previously inaccessible because the recording device had been taken, but working with the manufacturer, the FBI was able to recover these images. They are not characterizing the individual depicted in the image in any particular way, according to a message posted on social media by FBI Director Kash Patel. Previously, the FBI has said there are no suspects or persons of interest associated with Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
You mean the guy on the camera is not a person of interest or a suspect? Get out of here.
That now may be changing with the release of these images, though the FBI is not characterizing the individual depicted. You can see where the individual might be reaching close to the camera with a gloved hand to try and tamper with the camera before making entry. This was shortly before 2 a.m. at about 1:47 a.m. Mountain Time, according to a previous release timeline, Diane. And then at 2:12 a.m., a camera inside the house that was not set up to record images was able to detect an individual, an intruder, inside the house. And
Did you just say a camera that was not set up to detect images? It's a camera. What are you talking about? What is going on here?
It's the window when police believe Nancy Guthrie was taken, Diane.
And I want to bring in retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, the FBI director is saying that these images came from back-end data. How does that process work, and how big is this finding?
Well, I think it's a huge finding. Your answer is how difficult it is. I think the short answer is it depends. But obviously, it took them several days working with, I assume, Amazon, who owns Ring, to come up with these images. But you don't have a clear of the face. There are characteristics of this picture.
That, well, not confirming she was taken, but confirming that there was a masked individual immediately before the time that she went missing. So, as you look at this investigation, it would lead me to believe that this was the person, at least, that was involved in some capacity in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And that's just, based upon my observation of what we're seeing. Also, it's hard to make out, is this a man? Is this a woman? Anything more about that. But you
shout out to the mods, by the way, who do such a great job here when there are a bunch of people in the room.
Can see the eyes. You can see a little bit of the mouth. There are also programs out there, AI-generated techniques that are available to the FBI and to other law enforcement, that they may be able to start getting more information about who this person is. They're going to be taking that picture and they're going to be putting it through every single configuration that they have of every database they have to see if there's anything more that they can get from this picture.
I mean, think of how many cameras. Let's just say this person came across the border. There's AI cameras on the border. They're everywhere.
They're also going to be looking at the clothing. They're going to be looking at everything associated with these pictures to see if there's anything more that can.
And we'll just go over to Kash Patel's X account right here. Let's just do that. So right here, we can see on FBI Director Kash Patel's X account, you can see here the missing person bulletin that he posted. He says the FBI is offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. New images released today show an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. The FBI seeks information that will lead to identify this individual. You could see right there. And the White House also on this thread has checked in. Kash has reposted the White House saying the president encourages any American across the country with any knowledge of this suspect to please call the FBI, who continue to assist state and local authorities. The prayers of the entire White House are with the Guthrie family. And you could see right there, Kash Patel posting those images so you could see what's going on there. Let's head on back to this coverage.
Take them to the next lead. But I think this is a great job by the FBI and by law enforcement. They did not just move on from prior leads. They kept working it just like they do on these major investigations, and they were able to come up with this evidence.
So let's just jump back to that live shot over here where we could see the press pool outside.
It is hot out here.
On
We're
the
just
street
following
where
the FBI agents going.
Annie Guthrie lives, the sister of Savannah. They are canvassing that neighborhood.
Door to door. Maybe they'll find information on Nancy.
And these
They are
guys
going door to door in Tomaso's
tracking
neighborhood.
those FBI
It
agents.
appears that they also went to businesses on the main road there, right outside their neighborhood. Asked them about surveillance footage from 9:30 p.m.
Well, Janet, it could be for exclusion. It could be just to exclude them from the investigation, just to, bird dog these leads, and
I'll give you the time. This is reported by Fox News. They say they're asking for surveillance footage from January 31st, 9:30 p.m. to February 1st, 11:30 a.m.
Or it could be an armed robbery that was about valuables in the house. And then that would mean that this ransom thing is a completely separate, bamboozle scam that they're trying to get money. The Bitcoin wallet that is registered and attached to the first letter is still empty. No deposits have been made.
You know what that means? You know what that means. You know what that means.
That cameraman's got the mega zoom.
Okay, we wait. It's hot out here. All right, just gonna plant the camera here. As we wait.
Ergo, a robbery gone wrong,
Crazy stuff, isn't it? How many houses do you think they hit? 20? They're hitting every single neighbor's home. They're literally hitting every single neighbor's home. They are going every home in the neighborhood.
She should put on some sunblock. She should put on a little copper tone sunblock there. You think? Retaliation? Maybe. Robbery? Perhaps. Kidnapping? I don't think so. I mean, think of all those cartel kidnappings that happen in Mexico or Colombia, right? And also, there are executives from companies all over the world that get kidnapped all the time. It just doesn't make the news. Too skinny. Yeah, I'm curious if you guys think it's retaliation. Retaliation, what for exactly? I'd like to know what you think. Good question. Well, if they go starting to buy cars and things with anything they've purchased off of that Bitcoin, there are so many different angles to go at Bitcoin.
Folks, welcome aboard. We are out here going door to door with FBI. Watching, go door to door.
What if somebody just starts running up the street and they're chasing them? All of a sudden, just some guys are running. But that's Arizona hot. That's very hot. So we're going to jump back over to this side again.
And Aaron, they're not calling this person a suspect, but the FBI director does say this person was armed.
Yeah. Look at that. He's got a pistol and he's armed. He's not a suspect. He was at the door.
And I don't see a specific weapon just looking in the small version of these images, Diane, but that's what the FBI director says. And in looking just at the mask.
He has a firearm and he's not a suspect, and a ski mask. He's not from Domino's. He's not with the cable company.
And the gloves and the backpack. And my God, you think how terrified Nancy Guthrie may have been, assuming she confronted this individual in her home at about 2 o'clock in the morning after a game night and dinner with her family at her daughter Annie's house nearby. We know that the FBI has also been scrutinizing other cameras here at the house. We spotted them on the roof, looking at rooftop cameras that were part of Nancy Guthrie's home security system. So perhaps the hope is they'll be able to recover additional images in addition to the ones that appear to be from the doorbell camera, previously inaccessible to authorities for a variety of reasons, they say. But the hope is to try and build out a much larger profile of this individual. Even though they're not calling the person a suspect, it is the best images authorities and the public now have to go on, Diane.
And so many now hoping that they will lead them to Nancy Guthrie. Aaron, Brad, Richard, thank you all. And investigators are asking anyone with any information related to this case to call either one of those two tip lines on your screen. And we will have much more on ABC News Live and abcnews.com.
Make sure you give one of these numbers a call.
And David will be back with the whole team from World News Tonight with more on this story later this evening. I'm Diane Macedo. Right now, we'll return to your regular programming. Have a great rest of the day.
This has been squares of images. I don't see a specific weapon, but that's what.
Say suspect. Is he a suspect? Do we know?
We don't know, and neither the FBI nor the Pima County Sheriff's Department characterized the individual in any particular way, other than to say this individual showed up in a mask and gloves and a backpack to tamper with a doorbell camera at Nancy Guthrie's home. So the presumption is that this is a person associated with her disappearance and apparent abduction. The FBI is not saying for sure. I got to tell you, Kira, I don't know that it matters what we call him. It's the first clue we have had in the last 9 days. Law enforcement will take it, and now they can run it through various software tools to try and develop a more specific image that the public might be able to recognize. But certainly they're already saying, do you recognize the eyes? Take a look. Do you recognize the build? Is this an individual that you could possibly tell who it is? And call the FBI if you do.
Yeah, clearly this is not someone delivering Uber Eats at 2 a.m. You're right. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's pretty powerful just to see the image in the gloves and the full face mask and boots and a backpack and, you know, going for the cameras. Aaron, appreciate you so much. Stay with me if you can. Let's bring in our retired FBI agent, Rich Frankel. Rich, for days we've been talking about no clues, no leads, no additional information. Does it mean the Sheriff's Department is keeping things, you know, close to the sleeve, or does it look like they completely botched this and don't have anything? Now we're seeing these images. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the fact that it took this long to get these images just goes to the fact that it takes that long. Either, as Aaron said, maybe they had to get warrants. Maybe there was some other technical problems or issues that caused them to take this long to get these videos and these pictures. But the fact that they stayed with it and they
have
got
an investigation like this, you don't want to mess it up.
the pictures, and it appears that these pictures are of somebody who was probably or possibly connected to the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. But also, you know, you got to look at the rest of the investigation. We did see the FBI agent on the roof. It appears to get another camera. Why didn't they find that camera earlier? I can't comment on that. I don't know. But they were up there. It appears that they did take a camera off within the last couple of days. And maybe we're going to be seeing more pictures.
It makes no sense at all.
You know,
Hit that
it's
like
going to
button,
take a little
guys.
bit of time. But the FBI has stayed with it. The Sheriff's Department has stayed with it. And they are doing their best, it appears, to be trying to find Nancy Guthrie.
Got it.
All right, we're going to jump back over here. Thank you. The FBI still out there going door to door. This doesn't necessarily fare well for the Annie Guthrie family and Tommaso. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think most neighbors are going to be more than happy to be helpful in this situation. Scat Pack. We're going to break from this over to this side.
Fox News alert, we have a potential new lead in the Nancy Guthrie mystery. The FBI has been made aware of a possible ransom note that's allegedly demanding millions for the return of Savannah Guthrie.
So this is just from when this started to happen.
Local authorities notified the FBI of it, and we are working with them in any manner they choose. But remember, they're the lead right now, and we have to respect that, but we are there to help them in any way we can, on ransom notes or otherwise.
And that is the statement from Kash Patel several days ago.
All right, stay close, Rich. Let's take it straight to Trevor Alt now. He's been on this story from the very beginning as well. So, Trevor, I guess folks are trying to figure out how these images have now suddenly appeared when we thought at the very beginning that the cameras were taken, disabled, and that there weren't any images. If we go back to the very first press conference, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounded like no video had been recorded and that the chance of getting any images was basically slim to none.
Yes, that was our understanding, Kira. So from the very beginning, we learned that there were cameras at this home, which gave everyone some hope that we would get to see what was going on. Then it seemed it was taking some time to get the images. Then they essentially said that the Guthrie family didn't have a subscription with Google Nest. That's who owns these surveillance companies. And so then while they do take some of the footage, it would be deleted very quickly. They were trying to get it recovered. We know the FBI brought in, as part of their task force, experts in data recovery. And it got to the point where it looked like these images were lost. Now, we don't know 100% how they were able to obtain them or recover them. A warrant does seem very likely. As you can imagine, often surveillance companies are not quick to hand over images or footage after they have told you we're deleting it inside your own home after it is taken. But in this instance, I think you could understand why a judge might say, no, this is relevant to be able to pull this kind of footage. Now, as far as the semantics on whether or not the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Office in their official statements are calling this a suspect, no, they're not using that language. I can tell you a source who is very familiar with this investigation told me ahead of the release, when we were expecting these images, I referred to it as showing a potential suspect, and they said that that was fair language. So at this point, what we all know it to be obvious. This is a person who appears to be on camera tampering with these cameras the night that Nancy Guthrie is.
He's got a ski mask. I don't know why they're pussyfooting around this terminology.
Believed to have been taken from her home. I think it's obvious to everyone that this is very possibly someone who was directly involved in the case. This is also, of course, we know this is the first major breakthrough. It's also the first piece of concrete evidence that we have to go off of. For the past 9 days or so, the driving force that we've seen in terms of how investigators have been speaking publicly and how the family has been speaking publicly has been in response to unverified ransom notes, a pair of them which were sent out to media organizations. Those have never been confirmed to be real. It's possible that they are, but it's also possible that they are not. We saw, though, the Guthrie family speaking directly to any potential captors, talking about being willing to pay, anything like that. I think, of course, it speaks to their grief. It speaks to their willingness to try to get information, but it also possibly speaks to their desperation in an investigation that, to that point, had turned up basically nothing. And what I was hearing from investigators through this entire thing is they are chasing down hundreds of leads. They're begging the public for information, but they repeatedly were hitting dead end after dead end after dead end. To get this development now with these still images,
I was thinking maybe there's a gambling debt of some kind.
That they can immediately send out around the world is going to substantially bolster their plea to the public to be on the lookout for information. Because now when you say, hey, we're needing information that's going to help Nancy Guthrie, you can show them something tangible to hang on to, as opposed to if you saw something strange somewhere, anywhere in America, or maybe in Mexico, or maybe beyond it. That is a very broad net to cast. This at least can focus the public in a specific direction. The problem, of course, now is we're 9 days after Nancy Guthrie was taken. That is a 9-day head start for the...
No professional kidnappers want to have anybody for 9 days.
Person who took her, if this is the person in these images who did it.
Mexico and South America, they wrap these things up within, 5.
They could be anywhere at this point. But of course, this is an immense development in this case. It could be extremely helpful for investigators and the general public in trying to find wherever Nancy Guthrie is.
Great reporting, Trevor. Thank you so much.
I believe that was someone in California that was arrested for that.
I'm going to bring in Brad Garrett. Brad, as a former FBI agent involved in cases like this, I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is just your overall thought about these images.
Well, I think they're terrific. We started with not having any and thought we weren't going to get any. I'll tell you, Kara, it's not uncommon to have, I'll use the term surveillance photos of people.
This guy is about as exciting as a glass of milk. We're going to go back over.
Couple doors down, we saw them talking to a gentleman out there and then going inside. So very curious activity going on.
That's coming from a Fox Sports report. What you're seeing right here, FBI agents and Pima County sheriffs, neighbors of Annie and Tommaso's, asking about the terrain, asking about things. I've heard them say, do you have surveillance footage? Have you seen anything suspicious? What do you have around your property? Can we take a look? Things like that around Annie and Tommaso's.
So they're just trying to get every detail from the surrounding area, covering all their bases. Finally, I don't know why this didn't happen before. I don't know why it didn't happen before.
Oh, it's a pig. Boar, what is that? Holy smokes. Look at that.
I'm stopping. We're following a different study.
Holy smokes, we got a breaking news. I don't know where this thing came from.
Javelina.
What is it?
Javelina.
Javelina.
Yeah.
Are they?
Call it a pig. It's pecker.
Are they wild?
Yes.
That's not somebody's pet.
And a herd of them will hurt.
Wow. Javelina.
That thing will mess you up.
Sorry?
Whoa.
Okay, yeah, I'll find it on WhatsApp. But yeah, it should be in the next little bit.
Somebody woke him up. All right, we're going to jump over here. we'll see if there's some. As you can see, this is another angle. Look at this. The FBI agents were going up to vehicles. They are leaving no stone unturned, going door to door. This is just the craziest story. Okay, so see, that's a sheriff. Those are feds. Sheriff, feds. Sheriff, feds. So she's from the sheriff's office. Wow. So let's jump back to that on the scene
Easy, man. This
coverage.
is like, I've never seen anything like this.
This is JLR. Boots on the ground.
Oop, homeowner's home. I think they probably called the wife to come home. Let's see what this said.
Wonder what they saw, because they're talking to them for a little longer than some of the other people.
In that white SUV that pulled in.
They're probably like, yeah, that Tommaso, he's a real piece of work, this guy.
Folks, these are FBI agents here. 2 FBI agents and 1 Pima County Sheriff deputy at a neighbor of Annie and Tommaso.
If you subscribe, guys, make sure you hit your notifications so you can see all of my coverage on this. We have been on this for a while, and we're going to stay on it until or unless Nancy is found. So please consider subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers. I can't be that bad. Oh, it is a rough day out there in the heat with the cameras. That's a tough one. That's a bad day out there.
All right, here they come, folks.
Road runner, coyotes after you. Road runner, if he catches you. So here we are live. And this is right up the street from Annie Guthrie's house. There's a reason that they're out here. There's a reason that they're canvassing all these neighbors. They found something, and they are going to bird dog it down until they find this lady.
FBI, open up!
Oh, see? They're like, watch out for the javelina up there. Sig Sauer. And there are just press from all over the world down here. They're not live streaming like JLR. Brian Enton and Jake Tapper were on the scene earlier. Well, if you're not used to it, you know, it's a different kind of heat. He's from Florida. JLR's from Florida, so it's a little swampy down there, a little different kind of heat. And, you know, when you're standing out in the sun all day, it's going to hit different. Oh, there you go. Here's old Bill. Like, I've been waiting for you guys to get here. And thank you for everyone who's staying with me here on the program and for hitting the like button. Appreciate you.
Want to have Javelina in Florida? Oh, no. No, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't.
That Javelina starting to run
I
towards
didn't
you?
ask all y'all. Like, what is that? We got scarier stuff in Florida. We got crocs and alligators, iguanas, and
I jumped on this a little later than I usually would today. I had some appointments. I had lunch at the Apple Pan. For those of you who know LA, the Apple Pan, a very old
that's a
hamburgery.
more.
Delicious. Thank you so much for all the likes, guys. Really appreciate it. Old Bill's like, let me show you over here. If everybody hits that like button now, we can get to 300 likes. I'd appreciate that. The like button's free, by the way. And we're creeping up on 100,000 views for this live stream. So thank you very much, everybody. That's fantastic.
Went in the neighbor's garage.
And that's got to be a little bit of an emotional gut punch for that ransom clock hitting zero with no resolution. That really must be a gut punch for the family. And there are a couple scenarios. I mean, is the real kidnapper still deciding the next move? If this was a kidnapping, was the deadline to bluff to increase some pressure just to get the money from another scammer? And the worst case could be that anyone who entered the home or abducted her or did whatever, that they never had the intention to negotiate at all. You could double tap your device to hit the like, or you could find it in the top left corner if you are on a phone or device.
Another one?
It's the same one.
Oh, same one.
That Javelina's stalking them now. Javelina's like,
oh, no,
"Eh."
here she comes.
That JLR's looking tasty. Yeah, give me a boop. Double boop. Boop, boop.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You're right back up.
How's it going? Everyone wants to know what's going on.
You tell me.
What were they asking?
They want to see the outside of the property.
Outside the property, anywhere in specifically?
Outside.
Just outside? Like the
There's an arroyo in the back. They were looking at that.
what was it?
An arroyo, a wash.
A wash. They were okay.
Arroyo.
Yeah. They ask you, like, if you see anything suspicious or anything?
Is this the first time they've been by since all this started happening?
There were a couple of FBI agents by 5-6 days ago.
Wow. So they're doing it again.
Canvassing the area, I presume.
What'd they ask then?
So they already did it once. There's something new.
Did you hear anything?
Hear anything?
Look at the javelina.
Look behind you.
Yeah, you got a javelina behind you. Just
Be
so you
careful.
know.
How do you feel about the situation? We're just
We're
covering.
from Phoenix. There's people from all over the country here now.
They only attack when they see foreigners, so I know you guys got to be careful.
How do you feel about the situation? This whole.
He said they only
situation?
attack when they see foreigners from not in Arizona.
Can do to help would be great if they want to look at anything you want to look at. As quick as they eliminate people, they can spend resources on other areas.
Did you know they were already in the neighborhood, or was anybody talking? Or
Nope.
Just,
Nobody's talking.
Yeah.
Don't talk to our neighbors usually.
Yeah.
Too many javelinas.
Thank you, sir.
What is your name?
Lorenzo Jensen.
Lorenzo Jensen.
Lorenzo Jensen.
J-E-N-S-E-N?
Lorenzo Jensen. Okay.
Lorenzo, L-O-R-E.
Okay, witness protection. Lorenzo Jensen.
NZO.
Okay.
That's right. Perfect.
That makes sense.
Have a good day, Lorenzo. All right.
Lorenzo Jensen from the Gambino
I
family.
asked him about his property.
Tried to live out his days in Tucson.
Nice guy, willing to help.
Always willing to help. Everybody in the neighborhood's on witness protection. Right down there, you see old Joey. He's from the Colombo crew. There's the Bonanno family, Genovese, Lucchese. We got them all in this neighborhood. Lorenzo Jensen. Out of here. Lorenzo Jensen. Shut up. Lorenzo Jensen. Sure. Okay, Whitey Bulger. Chris Bulger. Lorenzo Jensen. Lucchese family. I think he was going to tell that javelina to
home
sit.
here.
Sit. You ever see a javelina sit? Me neither. So here we go. Some more door knocking.
About a minute out.
A minute out? What is he talking about? About a minute out. Ouch. Now they're all starting to follow the FBI agents.
Hey, 857, swing it down this way a little bit when you get a chance. 857's handling my Jeep. All right, back on the move, folks. YouTube Live, FBI, door to door. Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. Where is Nancy Guthrie?
What if she answers one of the doors? Oh, I'm just over here to friends. Yeah, I'm Nunzio O'Brien. I'm Nunzio O'Brien. Yeah, we've been living here 20, 30 years. Okay, Nunzio O'Brien. All right. Lorenzo Jensen.
with one neighbor about what that conversation was like a few seconds ago. He said they didn't really ask him if he's saying anything suspicious, anything like that. They just wanted to know more about his property and the surrounding area. He says he has an arroyo, a brook, in the backyard of his property, and they asked if he could go look around that area, the brook, that area behind there. So that's what we're seeing right now. This new activity in the last couple
What
of
is the
hours.
most common name in the Witness Protection Program?
Guthrie's neighborhood. This is not Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. And we have seen this on multiple streets.
There's about 16 Lorenzos and a couple of Nunzios, all with Irish or German, Swedish last names. Because you know how many Swedish Lorenzos there are.
Let's talk, though, about the big break in this case this morning, the digital investigation that's taking place.
Like My Blue Heaven.
Covered from the Ring doorbell, or excuse me, the doorbell camera that was on Nancy Guthrie's house. Very interesting timeline in all of this. They were working to get this video for at least 8 days now. They were able to get this on the back end, this lost video here.
Is he rehearsing?
Incredibly, again, it took 8 days to get this. I talked with Tim Romer. He's a former CIA agent, former head of the Arizona Department of Homeland Security. Now he's the CEO of cybersecurity company. He knows his stuff and broke down for us how important this moment is.
Yeah, they're talking. They're talking to another homeowner, for folks. JLR investigates door to door.
Let's head back here.
That aren't very good. And many times they have a hood up. In this case, it looks like this guy's got on some version of a ski mask. But there are unique characteristics about this picture. In other words, as Aaron mentioned, you can see his eyes. There's a possibility around his mouth that there's some facial hair. But what jumped out at me were two things specifically is the backpack that he had on looked, all we can see is the straps, of course, but looked very different. And then it looks like he has two lights attached to the top of the strap of the backpack, which would make sense, of course, if he's going into a dark house. That also may suggest to me that he didn't drive up to that house. There are these dry creek beds behind Nancy's house that lead to other roads, that he may well have walked up one of those trails to get in her house. I'm only saying that is, and my guess is they've done follow-up.
You're not going to be able to find any footprints in any of that unless it's muddy or, the print isn't going to stay.
With this, but to check that out. But those lights on the backpack and the gloves even look somewhat unique to me. So when people go to look at this photograph, you're going to want to point out to them some of the things I just mentioned, because this guy may have worn that backpack around with those lights on. Maybe he hikes a lot. Who knows? But it would be interesting for, that to be sort of the clincher of at least figuring out who he is. Because my sense is going to be he's the key to this case.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you think of someone and who, maybe more sophisticated thinking about their appearance, a lot of times you see those.
Over 200 new subscribers today. Thank you very much, guys, for joining.
That have been arrested in images like this in all black, like nothing is recognizable or there aren't any distinctions. And you've already pulled out a number of different things, from possible facial hair and the eyes to the backpack to the jacket to the gloves. Interesting points. So then let me ask you, considering what you just pointed out, what does the FBI do now? For example, are there ways to look at those gloves more closely or differently, or the jacket or the eyes or the mouth or the facial hair? How does the FBI go about zooming in on these certain distinctive aspects of these images and not only look at it from an FBI perspective, but also...
They're going to find this guy.
Also, show the images to the Guthries or people that know Nancy very well. Do you distribute it to everyone?
Well, that's the whole key here. The key is wide dissemination. You don't know, obviously, if this guy is from the Tucson area. He could have traveled into the Tucson area. Now, why he would go after Nancy Guthrie, my guess is it's because of someone else. But we'll see. That's just a guess on my part. That if you take, for example, if I'm correct on this at all, that there are two sort of specialized lights mounted on the straps of the pictures, you might be able to figure out who the manufacturer is. Now, that may or may not help. It would certainly help if he ordered them from Amazon. You might be able to find people that purchased those.
There you go.
If in fact they can ID the backpack or those sort of, I think, sort of odd-looking gloves. Those are all potential leads that may, it's a lot of work, but it may lead to, 100 people or 200 people in the last few months that have bought like those lights that are on that appear to be lights on the straps of the backpack. So it's that sort of minutia, for lack of better terms, that get you down the road. I mean, we're so used to watching television where it's all run and gun and excitement, but that isn't what solves cases. It's what the stuff you and I are talking about.
The specifics. Well, let's talk more about it with former FBI agent Rich Frankel as well, who you know quite well too, Brad. Rich, what are your thoughts about the images and the specifics? And just add to, okay, here we go. Is there any sound to the video? Okay, so Rich and Brad and Trevor and Aaron, we have now cleared the video. We're rolling the video now. Rich, go ahead and look at the video and tell me, and we'll try and loop it. Tell me what you think of the video, the backpack, what this potential suspect is doing. All your thoughts, please.
Yeah, as I'm looking at it on the screen with you, he has it coming up. You're coming up to the camera. You're trying to either smash the camera or do something to it, and then he backs away. He's bending over. It appears he's doing something, looking at the ground or looking in that area, either for something that he may have dropped or just trying to identify something.
These are new suspect photos. The FBI going door to door. A ransom clock that has already hit 0. It's not looking good, but they do believe that she is still alive. So I'll be watching for any confirmed match on any of these suspect photos, any breakthrough from the neighborhood canvases, and any shift in the tone from the president about any of this. See what Trump has to say about it. The feds are closer or further than they've ever been from the solution. So if you want those updates the second they break, make sure you are subscribed, turn on all notifications, and hit the like so that this stream keeps reaching people who might know something. So drop your final thoughts in the comments in the live chat. Do you believe Nancy is still alive? And what do you think is the one thing that needs to happen to bring her home? So thanks for watching. Be nice in the comments to everybody. And if you're anywhere near the search area, check your footage, trust your instincts, and call the authorities before you jump on the internet. I want to thank you all for coming out. I'll be back on covering this story later, so hit those notification bells. The truth is a moving target, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.